Right. Okay. So folks, yeah, this is Quincy Thomas, and he's a program specialist and case manager at the Project New Start. And he's been very motivated and experienced to help a number of people that have challenges, individuals facing when they're re-entering into society with incarnations. So I just wanted to make that quick comment, and I'll let him continue maybe a little bit more background from himself and then go into the slides. So thank you for being with us, Quincy, and I'll pass it over to you.
Absolutely. How's everyone doing? My name is Quincy Thomas, and I am program specialist slash case manager over at Project New Start. For anyone that isn't familiar with Project New Start is a reentry workforce development program that's located in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. We service clients that are in the Newcastle County area that are justice involved or recently released from the level 5 prisons or level 4 work release, or are on community supervision, which could be level 4 house arrest or probation and parole. So what we do over at Project New Start is we run two 10-week cohorts twice a year. We run one in the spring and one in the fall. So we have a cohort that's coming up in April, and it'll run from the first Monday in April until I think it's the first or second Thursday in June, whatever 10 weeks will count out to be. So individuals come to the program, like I said, either from community on community supervision or from the work release centers. They don't come to our program directly from the prisons because they would have to be at least on the street in order to attend the program. So we do have programs that we run in the prisons that downstate and hit in Sussex County, but those programs are ran over Zoom. The in-person program is the New Start program. Uh, the, the 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 office is located on 202 on the campus of the Widener Delaware Law School. That is where we are. That's where we're housed at. So every day, the guys, ladies and gentlemen that are in the program, they commute to the program. They come into the program for and we'll go over the slides. I'll show you some of the stuff that we do. They come into the program, and every day it's structured like school, 8 to 3. You know, they're going through a series of different trainings, and we have different presenters, different community organizations that come in to offer services and to pour into our clients. So right now I'm gonna share my screen just to go over the slideshow to get into some of the things that we do in Project New Start. So let me go slideshow. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right. So this slideshow is pretty much just broken down into, you know, with some numbers, some statistics, and some things about the program. So the first page, as you see, did you know America has roughly the same number of people with criminal records as it does four-year college graduates? Uh, Nearly 50% of black males and almost 40% of white males are arrested by the age of 23. So for our individuals that are in our program, they have to be 18 to get into the program. We do not service juveniles right now. So we only service individuals that are 18 and up, like I said, that have been justice involved or are recently released from incarceration. So the thing is, they don't have to be just getting out of jail. They could have had some kind of run-in with the law over, you know, the last couple of years or whatever, and then they're having challenges to their employment. Our focus is reentry workforce development. This is our mission statement. The mission of Project New Start is to combat violence and reduce recidivism. So we do that. We remove the word try from our vocabulary. We don't say we try to do anything. we say that we're either doing it or we're working towards doing it. If it hasn't been done yet, that means we just haven't been able to complete it yet, but we're working towards doing it. Our mission is to combat violence and reduce recidivism, and we work towards doing that with employment. So we noticed that a lot of individuals, when they come home, they face challenges with housing insecurities as well as employment. So at Project New Start, one of the things that we try to do is make sure that during the course of the program, we assist individuals with the employment part. But if they have challenges, if they have housing insecurities, we try to align them with the resources that can help with the housing challenges or the housing insecurities. 2 years ago, we got a really, really large grant from Christiana Care that was a grant towards housing. So we were able to provide housing assistance for a lot of individuals. Every year, we don't know what our housing fund is going to look like, so we can only help based on the finances that are available. So in this picture right here, this is our most recent cohort. So everybody that's in this picture did graduate the program. So they went through the 10 weeks, they completed everything that needed to be completed. They graduated in December, this past December, and of the 12 individuals, let me see, 3, 6, 9, 11 individuals that are in this picture right here. No, yeah, 12. I know it was 12. I missed Markai right here in the red shirt. So of the 12 individuals that are pictured in this picture, of those 12, 11 are currently employed. The one that isn't employed, he's only not employed because after he graduated from Project New Start, he asked if we could refer him to another program because he wanted to get into culinary arts. So the guy all the way in the back on the left, we made the connection with him and the Food Bank of Delaware for him to get into their culinary arts program. So now he's over there studying culinary arts. So out of this past class, we're at 100% for employment because the one guy that is not employed, he transitioned into another program. And that's really our goal because everybody that's in this picture has come to our program from the work release facility except one. One came from the federal halfway house. So he is still just coming back home from doing 14 years in the federal penal system. After those 14 years, they sent me to Delaware to the federal halfway house. We went over there, conducted a orientation, made contact with him. He came into the program and he is currently employed as well. So that's how we work towards completing our mission. Delaware's recidivism rate of 65% for males within 3 years of release from prison exceeds the national average of 50%. So again, it is our goal and it is our mission to do our part to help reduce that recidivism rate. 3 out of every 100,000 adolescents are injured or killed every year from gun violence in Wilmington. What we noticed for the clients that are coming into Project New Start, one, they were getting younger, and two, the crimes are more violent because a lot of the individuals that are coming out of the prison system now have either assault charges from a shooting, the use of a firearm, or just being caught with a gun before they had a chance to use it. So we're faced with that challenge, the challenge of, having to deal with more violent offenders. But the beautiful thing is they come into the program, they go through everything that they go through within the program. And a lot of times what we have been able to do is help them transform the way that they see things, change that perspective, and work towards that aha moment where that light bulb come on and they realize that the way that they have been doing things in the past is not the way that they have to do things going forward. There are 400,000 criminal record. The bottom part is really important. A criminal record can be a life sentence to poverty that no judge ever handed down. So, we've noticed that the background when you come out from incarceration is an extreme hindrance to not just employment, but housing as well. like the top part say, according to the American Bar Association, Delaware has 792 collateral consequences that make it hard for individuals with a criminal conviction to find work or housing. So we face the challenge once individuals graduate. Some of them have trouble finding housing. Some of them, they have to sleep with a relative. They have to stay with a relative, or if we can make the connection with a private landlord, we try to help them get into a house or a community where their background won't be held against them because they're working so hard to get their life back on track. So between housing and employment, those are two huge barriers that we face with our clients on a daily basis. So, one of my favorite books is called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. If any of you guys have ever read it, he's a Lebanese philosopher, and one of the things that he say in this book is that those of us that have come before the guys coming behind us, and I'm paraphrasing, we err if we don't remove the stumbling block that tripped us up. Because if we know that that stumbling block is there, we should remove that stumbling block so that the person that's coming behind us don't trip over the same stumbling block that tripped us up. So we understand the challenge of employment and housing. So we try to make sure that we remove those stumbling blocks out of the way of the guys that are coming through the doors of the program that want to, proceed and move forward. Mental health is another barrier. So in the last year, we beefed up our support for mental health, and we added to the team, not to the Project New Start team as like an employee, but we do have someone that we have contracted with that comes into the program 2 times a week to speak to the guys, one time individually every week, and then one time in a group to try to help us with some of those mental health challenges that some of our clients may face. Delaware jails, 765 individuals per 100,000 residents. We're the 18th highest rate in the country to be, the second smallest state to be 18th in the country, with our incarceration rate is really high. So, it again is part of our focus to do what we can to help that number, help reduce that number. Barriers to successful entry. You see right here at the top, it says documentation for employment, birth certificates, social security cards, photo ID, and driver's license. Many of our clients come into the program and, excuse me, you would think since they're coming from the prison system, they would have these documents, but that's not the case. So a lot of times they come into the program, and even though some of them are at work release, they don't have birth certificates, social security cards, or photo IDs. So one of the things that we do in week one, we take an inventory of all of the documents that they may have or may not have, and then we schedule a time within the schedule to get them to whatever organization or whatever place we need to get them to get these documents. Some of the social security cards we can get online, but with individuals getting arrested and going to jail, their information change. So when you try to apply for a social security card online, a lot of times they're asking you for a phone number and an address. They might not even remember their last address. So they get blocked, and then you got to verify your identification. It's hard to verify your identification if you don't have an ID or a birth certificate. And then when we go to get the birth certificate, you can't get the birth certificate if you don't have a social security card or ID. It's like it's crazy the runaround that you get sometimes from trying to help an individual that's coming out of the jail system just identify themselves, and they may have been locked up for 3 months or 30 years, and they're coming out here with no identification. So one of the things that happened was some years ago, they passed a bill where if a guy's released, he's supposed to have what's called a credential card. It is not validated as a state ID, but it is like a prison identification card. And if we could take that credential card to the DMV, they will issue the ID for free. We were paying for IDs and birth certificates for a really, really long time until they passed this bill about 2 years ago. So Now we could take that credential card to the DMV and get the ID or the birth certificate. A recent bullet point number 2. A recent study revealed that 50% of federal prisoners who could not secure employment during their supervised release committed a new crime or violated. That is absolutely true. So when individuals are coming out of prison or incarceration and they have been gone for a long time, a lot of times they're coming home with nothing. So again, when we're doing that inventory at week 1 and week 2 to see, one, do you have secure housing once you're released from the work release facility? Do you have clothes? Do you have ID? Do you have birth certificate, social security card? A lot of times guys are coming home, ladies and gentlemen are coming home starting from scratch, and the class that just graduated in December is dead winter time, and the guys don't even have coats. So, we have to take them out, take them shopping, get them clothes, get them coats, and we do that so that they're not faced with the challenge of, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't got no clothes. Let me go back. Let me resort back to what I know, whether that's selling drugs or robbing or whatever, to get just the basic essentials, coat, shoes, boots, just clothes, period. Education. Nearly 40% of incarcerated individuals over 18 years old have not graduated from high school. So we see that a lot too coming out. A lot of the guys are younger. They haven't completed school. So over there at the level 5 facility, some of the guys do work towards getting their their GED or diploma, and we encourage that. But once they're released, if they don't have that, there's really nothing that we could do except help them with the resources, like connect them to the adult education resources to help them further their education. Housing. Most public housing authorities reject applicants with criminal backgrounds. Estimated that 4 out of 5 landlords employ background checks to screen prospective tenants with criminal records. 1 in 5 individuals who leave prison will become homeless. It's saying 1 in 5, but I think it's a little more than that. I honestly would say probably about 2 in 5 or 3 in 5, because what we've noticed is our classes, we try to keep them at around 15 individuals, so that's 30 individuals a year we're graduating. And out of those 15 individuals, we see about a third of that are homeless every class. Sometimes it's more. Anywhere between 5 to 8 individuals out of 15 may have the housing insecurity and they're homeless. I mean, like, don't even have a couch to sleep on once they leave the level 4 level. So that's another thing. It's a task that we've kind of been forced to take on, even though our space is reentry workforce development. The housing piece is something that, it kind of fell in our lap, because if we have clients that are coming out of incarceration and they don't have anywhere to go, we can't let them go to the streets. So now, we kind of have to pull all of our resources, get on the phone, work through email to try to find individuals somewhere to go. Transportation is another thing. So for Project New Start, we assist all of our clients with a 30-day bus pass to help them get back and forth to the program. Once they leave or graduate from the program, we still assist them with those bus passes to help them get back and forth to work or to probation and parole. Linkage to Medicaid and public assistance. So they changed the system and they changed the structure about a year ago. So there was an organization that will come into all of the reentry programs to help individuals get signed up for Medicaid, but that organization has left out of the reentry space. So the Medicaid is still available, but our clients have to go out and make the appointment and get the Medicaid on their own. We are working with the organization right now that can help them get health insurance, because health insurance is major, because some of the people are coming home, they have medical issues, they need treatment. They're leaving a state facility where they could have got treatment while in state custody, but now they're out on the street. They may need insulin. They may need if they had an opioid addiction, they may need a blocker like Suboxone. They may need MAT is what it's called, medical assisted treatment. If they were on opioids or had alcoholism, Vivitrol. So they need insurance to actually help them either stay sober or healthy. I mean, we all know that. We understand it. We live in America. We all need health insurance. So to come out of incarceration and to not even be able to get Medicaid is definitely a hindrance to a lot of people's sobriety and, just their freedom. Referral to community services, including aftercare. So this is one of the things that we're really big on, the referral to other services and organizations. We partner with other organizations so that if it's something that's out of the scope of work or scope of what we can provide, we can at least be able to get on the phone or work through email to refer our graduates, our clients, our current clients or graduates to get the services that they need. Job training and job placement services. So we partner with Dell Tech to do our forklift and our it was landscaping, but that changed to grounds maintenance because they moved away from the landscaping, like planting the flowers and that kind of thing, to grounds maintenance. Just understand how to do the work around the entire grounds of a property or in a park. So we partner with Dell Tech to do grounds maintenance and forklift. So our guys get grounds maintenance, forklift, serve safe if they want to work in a kitchen. We partner with the Delaware Restaurant Association to do serve safe. The American Traffic Association, they do flagging. So we do forklift flagging, serve safe, grounds maintenance, and OSHA 10. OSHA 10 is certification if individuals want to get into construction. So through the course of those 10 weeks, everyone will take these trainings and they will graduate with the training certification for all 5 of those. Serving time can reduce earnings by up to 52% through age 48. Okay, so this is why we work to partner with employers, that pay a livable wage. And it's really hard right now because a lot of the positions that the returning citizens can get into are entry level positions. So, we just try to explain to them that employment is like, it's like a flight of stairs. You can't get to the top of the stairs if you don't start at the bottom. So even though you may not want to start at this level, if you're just coming home from doing 3, 5, or 10 years or 3 months and you've lost it all and you got to start over, it's better to start somewhere than to not have anything and risk, being tempted to do something that you really don't want to do to recidivate. These are just some demographics about the clients that we serve. 80% are residents of the 19802, 19801, and 19805 zip code. So that's all the city of Wilmington. 90% are minorities, 80% African American, 16% Hispanic. I don't know what the rate of our white or Caucasian population is, but out of the 15, we usually have about 1 or 2 that are Caucasian that are transitioning out of incarceration. In the last 2 classes, I think we've had the most that was referred to us from the work release facility. So we have 15 in the last class, and 1, 2, 3 of them were Caucasian. So that's about a fifth. So 20% in the last class. 85% are male, 15% are female. We do a lot of recruiting for females, but we don't get a huge enrollment for females. We recruit at the women's prison and we go over there. I go over there personally myself. I do interviews over there. I do orientations over there. But for some reason, a lot of times the women sign up, but they won't show up. We want to increase that because what we've noticed is a lot of times the crimes for the women are a little different. So with the men, we see that men usually have the drug charges, the violent offenses, the gun charges, things like that. With the women, we notice that a lot of times the women struggle with the substance misuse or things like prostitution, where they're coming back from a domestic violence situation, and they unfortunately they may end up back in that situation, like some of our female clients have. So we try to cater to the women and pull the women in more because we understand that they actually do need a lot of support because they have children at home. The one young lady that graduated out of the last class, I'm telling you, she was awesome. She was on the ball, and she made it clear to us coming into the class, I could only do work during these same class hours, so I can't take a part-time job after class because after class I have to pick my two children up. So she did not try to maintain or try to obtain employment during the class because we run classes from 8 to 3 every day. After she graduated, she started looking for employment because during that 8 to 3 hour, her children are in school. Now she could work. So even though we don't get a large enrollment of females, we do a lot of recruiting to try to pull females into the program. So that's one thing. If anybody that's on the line know of any organizations that have females that may need any kind of support or assistance, please send them our way. The average age is 28 years old. The average term of incarceration is 59 months. So we're talking about the average. On average, the average term for incarceration is 5 years, well, about 5 years. 60 months would be 5 years. 51% do not have high school diplomas or GED. 95% have poor work history prior to incarceration because a lot of the clients, they come from maybe like a history of drug dealing or something like that. Some of them do come into the program with some really, really good work history. Approximately 85% are living in transient circumstances. And that is the absolute truth. A lot of them are, maybe couch surfing and the environments aren't the best, or when they leave incarceration and they're going into the work release facility, after they leave the work release facility, they don't have like really secure housing in the safe space. So the circumstances are not that great. Um, So who we serve, more on that, victims of trauma, no driver's license, poor communication skills, low self-esteem, institutionalized mindset, financial stress, child support fines, houses. Child support is definitely a huge barrier. A lot of times, and this is mostly for the guys, they can't get a driver's license because of back child support. You go away for 4 or 5 years, you come home with $20,000 in child support. The state expect you to pay child support while you're incarcerated, which is unrealistic if you're only making $1 a day, and then you come home, with child support out the wazoo, and now you can't get a driver's license. If you can't get a driver's license and you're outside of the space of being able to take public transportation, how are you supposed to get back and forth to work? New Start program. So this is just about the day to day. New Start is a 10-week intensive cognitive behavior change workforce development program. So I want to just speak to that a little bit. 10-week intensive cognitive behavior change. So one of the things that we try to focus on is the mindset, because if you've been doing the same thing for however many years and then you're coming into the program, if we don't try to tackle the mindset, then it's going to be extremely hard for you to, one, want to obtain employment, and two, maintain employment. So we do a lot of programming on workplace etiquette, do's and don'ts in the workplace, interview etiquette, how to not just get the job, but how do you keep the job? When it's time to transition, how do you leave the job? How do you, like, talk at work? How do you communicate effectively? How do you interact with your supervisor? How do you interact with other employees? If somebody leave the workstation dirty or somebody leave the workstation filthy, how do you react to that? How do you come in to work and you got to clean up somebody else's mess? And how do you communicate that to your employer and not allow it to cause you to get into a mindset to where you want to quit the job or you want to do something to the other employee, because essentially you need your job. You got to be able to, have some kind of income coming in. So we focus a lot on that cognitive behavior change. We're a workforce development program that operates Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. for a total of 325 classroom training hours. So what that 8:30 to 3 o'clock looks like, we actually open the doors at 8 o'clock. So from 8 o'clock, we have individuals coming into the office. It's set up like a school, like a classroom. We got computers, a computer section. We have the classroom section where the presenters may come in and present at the whiteboard. Everybody sits at their table, with their composition book or laptop in front of them, whatever they may need for the day. But what it looks like is this. They come in at 8 o'clock. We'd say 8:30 because we take attendance at 8:30. So from 8 to 8:30, they could kind of get their breakfast together, get their coffee together, get the things that they need to get their day started. At 8:30, everybody sits down, everybody take attendance. Once we do attendance, at 8:30, we do the word of the day. So that's something that we implemented about 3 years ago. We had an individual, God rest his soul, he came out of incarceration and he ended up passing away from a heart condition. So his name was Javier Ayala, and his nickname was Chico. So we do Chico's word of the day. He used to come in every single day, not being asked. It was just part of his daily routine. And he would pick up his dictionary every day and just look in there and find words. And during that 8:30 to 9 o'clock hour, he would always say, "Hey, you know what word I learned today? Uh, you know, peon." And we've been using this word wrong. We might, call somebody peon and not know the real definition of it, but this is what the dictionary say. That turned into a thing to where every day it would be like, well, what's the word of the day? Did anybody in the class learn a new word today? So we implemented that into the schedule. So before the class actually starts at 9, before the class get rolling, this is our time as a community between Brian Allen, who's the deputy director, myself, and Michelle Watson. This is what we do with the community every day as a whole. We do the word of the day. After we get the word of the day, we do a daily affirmation. And the way that looks is we noticed a couple years ago that there was a divide between the older individuals in the program and the younger individuals in the program, which is the same thing that's going on in our community. You got the older people that don't want to deal with the younger guys, and the younger guys don't want to deal with the older guys. So we split that divide. We broke it up. We said, okay, we're going to do the word of the day. Why don't one of the older guys pick a word, something that you may not have known, and we use that to educate the younger guys. So one of the younger guys will go up to the board, they'll scribe, the older guy might pick the word, the younger gentleman will go up to the board, read the word out loud, read the definition, and then we'll go over 3 things. What does the dictionary say? How does the dictionary use that word? How does society use that word? And then how do you use that word? So that we can kind of like get a grips and get a balance of how we may be misusing words in our definition. I mean, in our vocabulary. After we do the word of the day, we do an affirmation, same thing. One person picks the affirmation, the other person reads the affirmation. That's from 8:30 to 9. Now, what happens from 9 o'clock, every hour on the hour, we have something structured in the schedule. So at 9 o'clock, we may have, I'll give you an example. Somebody from child support that's coming in at 9 o'clock. They'll come in at 9 o'clock and present to the class, take questions. If it's stuff that they can help the class with, as far as getting their child support straightened out, they'll come in and they'll do that from 9 o'clock to 9:45, 9:50, 9:45 or 9:50. We'll go on break, take a 10-minute break. At 10 o'clock, another presenter from another organization will come in. So every hour we have it stacked so that someone is coming in to dispense information to the class or to run a training. So if it's the flagging training, so flagging might take 4 hours. That might go from 8 to 12. So from 8 to 12, they'll do flagging training. Then from 1 to 2, Eric Robinson may come in and he may do a session on trauma. From 2 to 3, someone may come in from Parent Inc. and may do a session on parenting. That's how our schedule looks every day. Every hour we have something going on, including what we do. What we do as the PNS staff, we do the resume building, we do the interview etiquette, we do the mock interviews, and we do something very unique. That's the ex-offender statement and 30-second commercial. So the ex-offender statement is, and I know this is a lot of information that I'm giving out. So, I'm glad it's being recorded just in case you need to go back to it. So the ex-offender statement is, well, let's start with the 30-second commercial. The 30-second commercial is kind of your elevator pitch. When you walk into an interview, the first thing, or when you meet somebody new, the first thing they want to know is, "Hey, Quincy, how you doing? Tell me a little bit about yourself." What are you going to say in that 30 minutes to represent yourself and sell yourself in a short period of time? Most older individuals that's been working, we understand what the elevator pitch is. A lot of guys that are coming from incarceration don't. So for us, we structure it based off of whatever work experience they may have. We put together their 30-second commercial. "Hey, my name is Quincey Thomas. I have over 5 years experience working in customer service. In the past, I worked at um Family Dollar as the cashier. I was able to work my way up to team lead. I'm looking to gain more experience as a customer service supervisor and utilize my skills at an organization that will allow me or afford me the opportunity to grow." Just like that. That's how we structure like a 30-second commercial. Ex-offender statement is, once you've gotten into the interview, if, because they say they banned the box where you don't have to say whether you're a felon or not, and that's not 100% true. They've just restructured it because, it may say on the application now, "Have you been convicted of anything other than a traffic offense?" Or have you ever, do you have any charges other than the traffic offense? Or in an interview, they might ask you, do you have anything that will cause you not to pass a background check? So the ex-offender statement is to help you know how to answer that question. So we accept full responsibility for whatever it is that we did. But in this interview, we teach our guys that you don't have to go into details about whatever it is or whatever it was. We want you to accept it. We want you to address it. And we want you to pivot and then highlight what it is that you've done since then. My name is Quincey Thomas. Yes, I was convicted of a felony. Since my incarceration, I've completed my GED and my diploma. I've enrolled in Delaware Tech. I've, completed my associate's degree in business management. I attended Project New Start. I've completed Alternatives to Violence. In the fall, I will be graduating from Project New Start with a certification in forklift and flagging, something like that, as an ex-offender statement. So yeah, I was convicted of a felony. Since my felony, this is what I've been doing. So this is all part of what we, teach our guys to help them get the employment. Following graduation, participants receive individualized job search assistance until employment is obtained. So that is true. After graduation, we do 90 days of job search, but our goal is to have them employed before graduation. So during the class, since they're programming from 8:30 to 3, on those break times, get an hour lunch every day, and Project New Start provides them lunch as well as transportation. So we provide lunch every day as well. Just that's the hefty, very hefty ticket to provide them lunch. So they eat a lot of pizza. So we provide pizza just about every day. Sometimes the guys get tired of it, but a lot of times they accept the fact that we provide lunch. During those lunch hours, we're helping them to find part-time employment. Because you got to keep in mind, if they're going back to work release, some of them are going home. They're in this program because they have challenges with employment. They need work. They put money in their pocket. So we help them part-time employment, something like 4-12, 4 close, 4 to 10. They can work after hours from the program. Once they graduate from the program, then we help them with transitioning into full-time employment. Each individual receives intensive case management from enrollment forward to ensure successful transitions to work, home, and community. This is part of what I teach well. So the program specialist. So my title is program specialist / case manager. Joe Watson is community-based case manager. So we track them from the time they come into the program, their employment, track their employment verification. Once they graduate, put together it is pretty intensive tracking process, but if they aren't employed, they still come to the program every Monday and Thursday for job search. And we reach out to them weekly, bi-weekly for the first 6 months. After that 6 months, we reach out to them bi-weekly, monthly for that first year. So for that first year, the graduation, they'll hear from us. It's either weekly or monthly, depending on their employment status in that first year. So for the first 6 months, it's weekly, bi-weekly. 6 to 12 months, it's bi-weekly, monthly. And we're reaching out to them either monthly if they still need employment, they're coming in Tuesday and Thursday, quarterly for up to 3 years track our graduates.
Quincy, we're getting a little feedback on the voice stuff. So I was just wondering, if we can kind of just close up a little bit, because I'm sure there's a few people that would have some questions.
All right. So,
Okay.
So I think I had 4 slides. So, state success, 95% of our individuals say it's present will be released back to the community. Reentry is the next step. These are just some slides from some of this we do community service. On Fridays, we go out to cemeteries, and we are part of cemetery restoration. We go out to Mount Olive and we clean up Mount Olive. It's a program. So, any questions?
Quincy, I'm not sure if your video part is upsetting our voice, but if you can maybe just close that out, then we'll have some individuals ask some questions. Good.
Okay.
Quincy, that's a very nice presentation, and it's a very nice program. My wife and I live in in Pennsylvania, and I've been part of a similar kind of program on actually helping people make positive decisions at our local present. So you're doing great work. Compliments.
I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, Quincy, I just want to say the program itself and the comprehensive things that are going on are very, very good. So very, very positive. I just had one question about, your you have approximately 30 individuals per year. Are there attempts to build that out to more, or is it just the way it's programmed? It's better to have it start it slow.
No, sir. Okay, so Project New Start has been just graduated our let me see. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary this past October. Okay, so we're a very small staff. Besides the director, Mr. Solidarity, there are great staff members. We would love to expand. We would love to expand into Kent County, Sussex County, or expand right here in Newcastle County and be able to do, instead of 2 cohorts a year, maybe 4 cohorts a year. And it's actually something that we discussed as a team, but it's just making it work realistically. It's only 4 of us on the entire program, so we would love to be able to graduate more individuals and help more individuals find employment. But just right now, because of just the distance of everything, we're kind of capped at 15 because we're at 10 years ago, and we figured we could bump it up a bit more. But more individuals, there be more bus passes, there be more food, more, it costs more to do more. That's the thing.
Thank you.
Miss Jane Palmer had her hand up for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. go ahead.
You talk about a large percentage of your class is doesn't have stable housing. What do you do about that? And what do you do when you have a client that is to start in 3 days and has no housing?
Okay, so if you're in Delaware, you may be familiar with the Newcastle County Youth Center, the big hotel. They used to be a Sheraton hotel, but they turned it into a short-term a homeless shelter out there right off of 95. So
Yeah, yeah.
that is, yeah, so that's one of the places that we partner with, YMCA as well. And right
Okay.
now we're in talks and negotiations with the Friendship House. So let's
Right.
say somebody need immediate housing. It's 7:54 right now tonight. They're just getting out of jail, or they're got into an argument with their spouse and they're getting put out.
Right.
Brian, I mean, the deputy director, or myself. I mean, sometimes we're getting called out of our beds to do certain things. And they have to put them up in a hotel for the night, which is costly.
Mhm.
You know, hotels are extremely expensive. And tomorrow, they're working the email or on the phone, trying to get them into the Hope Center or the Y. The thing about the Y, you have to be working. So the Y does not work for us, for our clients that aren't working. For the ones that are working, it's fine. We also try to partner with private landlords that may have residences that are vacant. You know, if we can help them get into a place and they have a job, and they'll try to use if the funds are available, cover to like 3 months of rent to help them, you know, get on their feet. If anybody that we find housing assistance for, they have to go financial literacy to help them develop budget so that after whatever the time period is, our assistance, they can sustain on their own. So to answer your question, like if it's needed, and we'll refer directly to the Castle County Hope Center. It's something that we have time for, even a couple days. We'll try to work some other avenues.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. John Barrynew, I'm not sure if he's online, but if he is, you can bring up your question.
So what should the Department of Correction go to
Right.
provide GED education, provide clothing, set up full chance Medicaid job training? So one thing that the Department of Correction could do or should do is make sure that guys got their identifying documents. That will help a lot. Because even though some guys come out with that credential card, still noticing some that slip through the cracks if they don't have that credential card. Now it makes our work. I'm not going to say that much harder because you know we just got used to doing it, but it's just enough shit that has to be taken to help them get their identifying documents. So it would be great if DOC could make sure that they got those identifying documents. As far as food stamps and Medicaid, I feel like they should come out with Medicaid. Those things should be done for individuals leave facility because some of them are coming right out and they need this boxing. They need their insulin. They need their high blood pressure medication. So if they're coming out of incarceration and they're on these meds, sometimes it's psych meds. They were on this stuff while they were incarcerated, coming out to the street and having any lapse in medication cause a setback. So that would be my answer to that first question. What DOC should do, make sure they got identified documents and make sure they got medical coverage to be able to come. It's an easy transition to come right out and get the things that they need.
Thank you.
The second question said,
Dolores.
interested on Mr. Loris. The program that we do at SCI is so we do it at SCCC and CPTC, which is Smyrna. If you're familiar with book the four agreements, by are you familiar with that book? So it's a book called it's a book called the Four Agreements by Ron Mario, it's called the Four Agreements. We developed for improvement, developed a course based on four agreements. Four agreements are be impeccable with your word, don't make assumptions, don't take that personal, always do your best. Those are the four agreements that's outlined in this book. So we developed a course called Living the Four Agreements. We looked at this book, it's kind of like a book club that's set up just like this. You know, myself and Brian, Aline, and Michelle, we're online with individuals that are in Sussex and Kent County, and we're doing that right now. So that's what we're doing on Wednesdays. Go through these four agreements and start at number one, being impeccable with your word. How are you being impeccable with your word? Are you using your word for good or are you using your word for bad? Are you always doing your best? Are you always trying to
Okay,
keep
I'll be there.
the best you can at everything? To make assumptions. Sometimes making assumptions will lead you to not be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personal. Somebody might say something that really wasn't for you. You take it personal. Now you're making an assumption about something. And now you're using your word foul manner. So we use this book to help individuals tools in their toolbox that can help with their decision making. It's called Living Four Agreements, but it's based off of the book Four Agreements.
Okay, so it's basically cognitive behavior.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's not workforce development.
No, it's not workforce development because we're not there physically in person to help with the training.
Mhm.
So yes, it's cognitive. No.
Okay, I ask because I work for the Way Home and we're doing very similar things in SCI during pre-release and then after they are released if they choose to come to us. And it is workforce development. So I was wanting to hear about what how you're taking that program possibly down to Sussex and if we can help. I'd like to get to talk to you about that.
Great. Because what happens is when the guys get out of the program down in Sparta and in Sussex County, as they get out, they're calling us because they may need a job resource or they may need some kind of assistance. And just last week, I drove down over to help one of the guys that's housed down there. So
Mhm.
we'll drive down there to help them with a bus pass. We'll drive down there to help them with clothes.
Mhm.
But it's hard for us to come to the job resources because we're not down there.
Right.
We have some based off our connection to the Delaware Restaurant Association. So we do have some leads down there, but
Mhm.
you know, we're always trying to develop that networks where like you're down there, you know, together to help out guys
Yeah,
down there.
well, how can I give you my contact information in the chat or do you want to do it
Yeah,
offline or? You-
So if you put it in the chat, I could copy it.
Okay, okay.
Very good. Thank you, Dolores. Any other questions? One of the things that you spoke about, Quincy, was clothing needs and shoes and things like that. How do you get that, or is that something that we as an organization can help you with that?
Absolutely. So, what we do is if we have clothing donations, we'll take them. And normally we need men's clothes because it's we have a majority of men that are coming out of the facility, like I said, to get some women. And right for that first week, we'll go to whatever we have in our closet, go let them I can see if there's anything that they can't use out of that. If it's not anything that they can use, like a little too small or too big, or it might be winter time, they need a coat, or sometime they need some, you know, bigger shorts or something like that. And we're not forced on to Christmas or Burlington. We usually go to, you know, try to be frugal. But again, we we're a grant-based program, so we try to do everything based on funds and funds that are available.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Any others? Questions?
Yeah, quick, Mike, quick question.
Mhm.
Or for Quincy, do those overcoats need to be new, or would you accept in the program, say through our church, used overcoats that are in good shape? But we just have too many in our closets, and we need to do something with them. And I can't think of a better use than giving them to a program like yours.
They not have to be new, so they're you know, like used and they're in good condition. It's something that guys can wear during winter time. Like I said, well, first week we open the closet up and let 'em, you know, for whatever it is that you would use. If if it's something that they need that don't have, it, you know, we're gonna go shop for that. One thing we all, I mean, we go shopping for that we can, you know, we always do is dress clothes because we do interviews, so we do interviews and mock interviews with Barclays and Capital One. Capital One is over Zoom with the Barclays. We take them down to the Barclays on the riverfront and they can get to the Barclays building. You know, like dress up, go into the building for interviews. So, yeah, we could accept the overcoats and if you have eyes or you know like dress pants or dress shirts and ties that you want to donate from the church as well, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can send out an email to everyone here too, just to make sure you have Quincy's email, but he's got it written down in the chat section right now. qthomas@project-new-start.org. So if there's any other comments or things or questions you might have for support or volunteerism, there's a number of us that I'm sure would be happy to do that. And we typically have anywhere from 12 to 15 people, but we sometimes we have this on video. So the good news is that we'll get 40 or 50, sometimes 70 people coming through and listening to our recording here. So if there's no other questions, then
Before we get off the line, could you tell me a little bit about the organization and that you serve?
I'm sorry, Quincy, that was a little, your voice is not coming in as clear as ours, so maybe just step back where you were before.
Yeah, I asked before we get line, could you tell me a little bit about your organization and what you do?
Sure, our organization is just one component of many in our church. We call it the Peace and Justice Work Group, and we have 25 to 30 people active, and different people come on Thursdays to join us. But our intention is really to educate ourselves, number one, on racism and socialism and a number of other projects. And then if there's any way we can have partnerships to get involved and support is another big focus that we provide. Sally, you had a question?
I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Thomas. What impressive work you're doing and what huge contribution to your clients that is. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming to speak tonight as well. I appreciate you all taking time out, sit and listen to me ramble on a little bit.
It was very, very comprehensive and very nice. So we appreciate your time, and we look forward maybe to make some connections down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't mind, I don't know if you have a bulletin board or something like that for your church. We are in the process of recruiting for our spring cohort, which starts in April. April for June. So if if you could post our flyer, or if you could reach out to anybody that you know that may have had any kind of justice involvement, or they have a barrier to employment, have them reach out to us.
That'd be great. Quincy, when you get a chance, you have my email, so just send me that information and I'll make sure we can pass it around. Okay. All right, folks, it's after 8, but we appreciate so much of what you spoke to us about, and I wanted to say thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.